What is up, guys? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys a Weiss Schwarz deck profile. This is on Goblin Slayer, specifically the English version of it. I decided to showcase this deck profile since, to celebrate the English release, I've managed to get my hands on pretty much everything that I need to play this set to its fullest extent. So I'm testing out various builds of this. Right now I wanted to showcase one of my favorite builds, which is the Priestess Goblin Slayer pairing, because it's a really strong defensive set and probably one of the more defensive builds. I am going to be trying out the Goblin Slayer finisher that came out in the set, but right now I want to test out the Priestess build. So without further explanations, let's get on to the deck profile. The first English one you'll see, hopefully. So I play 4 copies of Predetermined Outcome Goblin Slayer, which is the 1500 runner, which has the ability, if I have 5 or more cards in hand, it gains plus 1500 and level, and the ability, the character facing this card cannot side attack. So this allows you to control board state at the early stages and help you put your opponent in very awkward situations where they have to either slam something that's bigger than 3k in order to beat this, or just either lose the trade against Goblin Slayer, which is really hard in English because there's not that many cards that can beat 3k at the 0 step. Next we play 4 copies of True Bonds Goblin Slayer, which is the on reverse Rize effect, which is look at the top 3 cards, add a order character among them and put it to your hand and discard a card. It also has an alarm which allows you to look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Does it also say your opponent? No, of your own deck. It's also played for the early condition for the Priestess because this needs to be a clock in order to incur it. Next we play 3 copies of the Kind Acolyte Priestess, which is a tap self search brainstorm, and it also has the ability when you trigger an event, give a character, I think, plus 2k. Yep, plus 2k at the end of the turn. So mainly this is the main brainstorm of the deck, and one of your main sources of blue. Next we play 2 copies of the Beloved Archbishop Sword Maiden. This is basically 2 of in the deck. What it does is when it attacks, you can give a character plus 1500, and it has another ability. If this is the only character that's not reversed, let me double check. If all your other characters are reversed, including this, you may pay 1, rest it. So it's pretty much a guaranteed way of incurring a presence on the board if this is solo, since it's 1500. Next I play 1 copy of the Trial deck, Earth Maiden's Disciple Priestess, which is your drop search of the deck. It also allows you to check the top card of your deck and scry it. So you mainly first resolve the search and then use the scry ability to determine what your next sequence of play is going to be. And it's a 1 of in the deck right now. Next I play 1 copy of a Moment of Peace Cowgirl, which is your generic and overstated salvager, because what it does is when it comes into play, you may discard 1 climax, salvage an order character, or discard a torch and salvage a order character. So this allows you to set up your 1-0 Goblin Slayer play if you want to do that. And then lastly, I play 1 copy of an Ordinary Peace Cowgirl, which is your PR box topper. Probably one of the strongest PRs in the set. I only play it as a 1 of because you only need this at minimum 1, maybe 2 of. But right now it's okay. It's actually really strong early game, and you really rarely play this after that when you get closer to late game, because you're trying to maintain some sort of defensive pressure, or you're just trying to maintain resources. But it's still useful if you need periods of momentum swings in terms of resource gathering. Now for the 1 step, I play 4 copies of the Precise Battle Tactics Goblin Slayer, which is your main level 1 combo of the set. This card is basically Happy Christmas Kasumi, but on crack, because it can either salvage or search for the, for the torch events. And it combos with the door. So what it does is when it declares an attack, you may either salvage a torch from your waiting room, or add them, or search it from your deck and add it to your hand. So each torch has different effects. The one from the trial deck, which is this one, is a backup event, which allows you to top 4 check and add an order trait character from your hand, but you must have an order trait character on board to play it. And the other one is the 1-0 regular event, which allows you to, so long as you have a Goblin Slayer on board, drag a character from your opponent's stage to an empty slot in their center stage. So you can even drag from the back row into the front row. So this allows you to set up really cheeky plays where you can deny your opponent certain key characters in the back row while clearing out setting up clear precision damage lanes. This also allows you to set up your finisher if you decide to use the 3/2 Goblin Slayer from either the trial deck or the main set. Next, I play 2 copies of A Little Kindness Witch. You mainly use it as a level 1 reverser, and the effect, which is on attack, you may check the top up to the top 2 cards of your deck, send one of them to the waiting room, and put the other back onto the top of the deck. So this allows you to sculpt and figure out what your triggers are going to be, and it helps you determine your triggers, which is really nice when you want to push for damage. Next, we play 2 copies of the Innocent Maiden Priestess, which has the on-playability during your opponent's turn. Not even on-playability, the continuous ability during your opponent's turn. All your other order characters gain plus 1k, and when you play a climax, you can select 2 characters and give it plus 1k. So this allows you to set up really good walls during your opponent's turn, while at the same time setting up really strong lanes during your turn when you want to slam a climax, which is really nice. Next, we play the generic 2k Clear Gaze Priestess. This is your generic 2k backup. It's pretty mandatory. After that, we play 1 copy for the 2-step, the Anti-Change backup. What is it? Gleaming Dagger Goblin Slayer, which is your pay 1, discard 2 cards, or is it discard 2 characters? Sorry about that. Discard 2 cards, send a character whose level is higher than the opponent's level to the waiting room, and it's a generic 2/5 backup. Then we also play the 2/1 Bond Always Together Priestess. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the names. So what this does is basically this is your discard outlet at the 2-step. This allows you to bond into the 3/2 trial deck Goblin Slayer. So this allows you to sculpt your hand and get what you need, and it's also a 2k backup, 2k level assist for level 3s. And then speaking of level 3s, we play 2 copies of the 3/2, Passionate Yearning Sword Maiden, which is your on-play heal, and it's also a global 1500 assist. You basically use it for the assist ability. It also has the ability, you can tap itself, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and rearrange them in any order. So this allows you to determine your triggers. Let me double check if it rearranges. Yep, it rearranges them. So this allows you to set up your triggers. And it's usually used for your on-play healing, since you don't have that many healers in this set, sadly, except for the Trial Deck Priestess, this one, and the Goblin Slayer of 3/2 from the main set. Speaking of Trial Deck, we play 2 copies of the Mask Figures named Goblin Slayer, which is your main finisher of the deck, sadly, since this deck doesn't have any finishers, since the Priestess is more of a defensive 3-step. So this is mainly used to help you close the game. What it does is, when it attacks, your opponent cannot play backups And when it reverses an opponent's character, you may pay 3 and burn 2, which is really nice. So if you pair it with this lane, with these two in the back row, your Goblin Slayers actually get really beefy with Climax combo, so you're most likely to reverse a lane. So this allows you to kind of set up really nasty interactions and guarantee you to close the game. And then lastly, for the 3-step, I played 4 copies of the Pure Aid Priestess, which is your main defensive 3-step. So in order to play it at level 2, you need the True Bonds Goblin Slayer and Clock. And what it does is when it comes into play, you may draw 2, discard 1, and when Extensive Divine Protection is in play, when all your priestesses attack, depending on how many copies you get, it gives your opponent's characters a global -1 soul for each priestess. So if you have 2, you get a -2, 3, -3. So this helps you prevent damage. So if you have multiples at level 2, if you have 3, they're not sticking any damage at the 2-step. Unless they're playing early plays, then they have a chance of sticking damage, but most of the time, they're not. So you're pretty much guaranteed protection at the 2-step, and you basically use this during the 2-step to guarantee no damage while pushing for damage with the Priestess, which is really nice. And then lastly, I played 2 copies of the Gate Scroll, which allows you to, when your opponent attacks, you may choose one of your... Actually, it's during either player's turn, but since it's a backup event, during your opponent's battle, you can choose one of their characters and bounce it. So this allows you to deny certain finishers, or allows you to protect yourself. So let's say if you're going up against Albuta or Bunny Girl Senpai, you can bounce the Futaba bodyguard during their turn, so they're denied the bodyguard protection, and you're guaranteed to clear up that lane to do some other plays, which is really nice. So, for the Climax layout, you play 4 of the Patch Trigger, and then 4 of the Gate Triggers. So I hope you guys like this deck profile. Sorry it's a bit rushed. I'm still kind of under the weather when I'm doing this video, and you can kind of tell by my voice. Sorry about that. I hope you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. Smash that like button. And the next video that you guys gonna see, sorry for the background noise, is another Goblin Slayer deck profile, emphasizing the 3-2 from the main set. Once again, this is Platinum Point. Stay on point, guys. Peace out.